The internet has a strange habit of documenting things that were never meant to be seen. Personal breakdowns, desperate confessions, and moments where someone's life spirals out of control, while thousands of strangers watch from the sidelines. On Reddit, those moments are often scattered across posts and comments, buried between memes and arguments. But sometimes, if you follow one account long enough, a pattern begins to appear, and what starts as a few strange posts slowly turns into something much darker. Today, we're diving into some horrifying Reddit users. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. Raiden Jacques. Everyone knows there's a dark side to the internet. Not only the sinister, evil, or scary content that's easy to find, but sometimes just heartbreaking, disturbing, horrifying. Stories that you can't stop reading, listening, or watching. You pray for a happy ending, but you know it won't happen. Because on the internet, things aren't like the movies. The boy doesn't get the girl, and the main character doesn't escape death. These are actual people, true stories, real despair. Lives they can't escape from. User Raiden Jacques is no exception. He quotes French philosopher Michel de Montaigne in his bio. For he who fears he will suffer already suffers what he fears. It feels like someone who lives by this lives a peaceful, serene life, not worrying about the past or the future, not scared of what might be to come, staying in the present moment. And maybe that's how Raiden wants to live. But what if the present moment is too much to handle? What if his mind is working against him, and no matter how much philosophy he reads or mindfulness he practices, he can't seem to avoid suffering? Many people go through this sort of thing, enduring things like depression or anxiety. But then there's things like schizophrenia, which is sometimes so severe that it feels almost impossible to live with. And when just taking a quick glance at Raiden's profile, it's obvious this is something he deals with. One of his most recent posts is on r/schizophrenia. I haven't slept in 4 days. Someone help. The voices are screaming at me every night. The meds aren't working yet again. I'm going to end up having an episode and being sectioned again. Anyone got any advice? He adds a picture of himself to the post as well. Honestly, the post wouldn't even need words for anyone to know that he needs help. His eyes are empty, his face drained of all emotion. His eyes are directed at himself, but it's like he's looking off into nothing, like he's not really there. But it's not just the 4 days of no sleep that's hurting him. His life has been agony for years. A year and a half before the previous post, on May 4th, 2021, he posted this. The angry man has started talking in my head again, and I just want him to go away again now. I've only just gotten out of the psych ward a week ago, after I had a bad schizophrenic episode. After the first week I was there, my mind felt as good as I can remember. I think it's because they gave me higher dosages of antipsychotics, but I came out of the episode very quickly, and my paranoia was a lot better. For the past 3 days, this voice has become more and more nasty and convincing. It is telling me to do some messed up things all the time now, and keeps trying to make me believe he is real, and not in my head at all. And to be honest, I don't 100% disagree with him, but he keeps pushing me to do something which I know I shouldn't, and he is going to get me into trouble now. I cannot tell my doctor or psychiatrist because I've only just got out of the ward and I'm not going back straight away. The medication is court ordered, so they will not let me switch, I don't think. Does anyone with any experience have any advice? That last question is the theme for the rest of his profile. Scrolling through each post, Raiden goes through the pains of battling his own head, feeling trapped, and then desperately searching the internet for help. He feels as if the options that have been given to him by medical professionals just aren't enough. The medications and treatments either do nothing or make him feel worse. He wants another solution. Anything to get out of his head. What substance can be taken in conjunction with antipsychotics to reduce paranoia? I have had my antipsychotics upped 5 months ago by court order after a bad psychosis episode. The pills were perfect. It dumbed my paranoia, blocked delusions, and I thought stopped hallucinations and psychosis. This medication is terrible. It's turning me into a zombie. Although it definitely stops hallucinations and psychosis and delusions, I have become very paranoid again, which is a big problem. I've smoked weed and drunk alcohol a few times 5 years ago before I was diagnosed, but have not taken anything psychoactive while I was on antipsychotics through heavy and constant advice from my psychiatrist and doctors. My friend tried to convince me that DMT was a wonder drug which would cure my illness, and I very nearly took it before researching it and finding it to be a stupid idea. Now, another friend has said he has an uncle who takes medication for schizophrenia and weed for paranoia to balance it out. I am very skeptical of taking any psychoactive drugs, but if I don't find something to help my paranoia soon, I will be trying weed. Maybe even try to taper down my pills. This is just one post of many like this. He often asks about using drugs like DMT and weed, hoping that someone comments and tells him how good of an idea it is. Luckily, that isn't the case. Every single time, there are countless users begging him to follow his doctor's advice. Someone says, cannabis and DMT will 99% most likely exacerbate your psychosis. Don't throw gas on a fire. I'm sorry this is happening. Maybe the medication isn't for you, but don't make any major changes without your doctor's guidance or you'll risk another hospitalization. Another user comments, you really need to talk to your prescribing doctor about the side effects of your medication. Please do this. As to the weed, any psychoactive substance is going to have an effect on you. Your friend who has an uncle, is the uncle working with a psychiatrist, or is he self-medicating? Another user says, you shouldn't touch weed or alcohol if you have schizophrenia. All the pushback from these concerned commenters seems like it was maybe enough for Raiden to not try weed for now, but it wasn't enough for him to go back to his doctor and get help there. He mentions that his fear is to be sectioned again, which in the UK means he'd be involuntarily held at a psych ward. This is something he wants to avoid at all costs, which makes sense. No one wants that. So he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. The side effects of the medication and the possibility of returning to the hospital. Other users have safe and practical ideas on how to handle this. Talk to your doctor. It might be helpful to. Instead of saying, I hate the medication, say something like, I am concerned that I may need to try a different medication or different dose. I am experiencing these side effects, but I am worried because my paranoia has gotten a lot worse recently. What are my options? Raiden replies that he'll try that next time, but I guess his anxiety got the best of him and decided he just needed to take things into his own hands because he makes this post only a few days later. Do antipsychotics block spiritualism? Can I reach spiritualism by flushing my medication? I'm going to get myself off the medication and live normally for a while. I cannot talk to anyone about coming off my pills because any indication of trying to come off my antipsychotics, then my family, doctor, psychiatrist, and healthcare worker will put me into a facility or institute and F that. I'm also going to stop seeing my psychiatrist and psychologist, as I am not legally required to do so. The doctor I will have to keep up the charade to weekly, but as long as I watch my tongue, I should be okay. At the moment, I am on a few hundred milligrams of my medication a day and plan on snapping a 100 milligram tablet in half and reducing my dosage by 50 milligrams every day until I am human again. I've smoked weed and drunk alcohol a few times 5 years ago before I was diagnosed, but have not taken anything psychoactive while I was on antipsychotics through heavy and constant advice from my psychiatrists and doctors. I think this was another lie told to me to keep me dumbed down and avoid spiritualism. I know Redditors who don't understand my predicament disagree. So once I'm completely antipsychotic free, I will be treating my delusions and paranoia with weed. Hopefully it can treat hallucinations and psychosis too. I mean, just from the title alone, this gives me a bad feeling. Then the more I read, the more worried I get. It's heartbreaking how much help OP needs, and how little relief he feels from what he's prescribed. It shouldn't be so difficult to live a normal life, to not have to endure so much suffering from his own brain. I'm not a doctor, and I don't know exactly what the solution is, but it can't be this. This can't lead him down the right path. And I'm not alone in feeling this way. The comments are flooded with people begging him to talk to his psychiatrist, his mom, to just take a breath, do literally anything else, but that's not what happens. How can I get another prescription of medication without talking to my doctor? My head went funny last night, and I posted something on another subreddit, but the comments got me really paranoid. So I stupidly flushed all my meds and plan to go cold turkey. The antipsychotics are court ordered because of schizophrenic psychosis. One of the rules is if I destroy or throw away the medication, I will be put into an institute which the doctor will enforce. I am really paranoid and scared at the minute. I don't know what to do. I was supposed to take my pills last night at 9 p.m. but missed the dosage. My next one is in 48 minutes. I'm going to miss that one too. I need to be as fast as I can because I can't start hallucinating or go delusional in front of any or my family or health team, otherwise they will take me away. Is it illegal in the UK for a psychiatrist to tell my doctor about me flushing my pills, then consult with each other about me for procedures and med checkups? I cannot go the 2 weeks cold turkey because I cannot afford another psychosis episode. Edit. I cannot and will not tell my doctor. I can't risk it if he gets suspicious. He's spiraling. Things are just getting worse. The more he tries to take control of things, the more out of hand it gets. And no matter how badly everyone reading wants him to talk to his doctor, it's like that option seems further and further away. Like it's impossible for him to do that. But his health is still continuing to deteriorate, and he can't run from everything he's trying to avoid. Psychosis has pushed the last 2 people out of my life, and I don't think I can fix things now. A few nights ago, I had a paranoid schizophrenic episode of psychosis at my best friend's house. He knows I'm schizophrenic, but has never seen me in psychosis before. Only with me when I was delusional or mildly hallucinating a few times over the 10 years I've known him. We stayed at his, and I began hallucinating at 10 p.m. First, just auditory, scratching on the floor and walls, and banging randomly on surfaces. I told my friend to ring my mom as I started to get scared, and he locked the door to stop me from going out if my brain did slip like it did. But under my paranoia from the hallucinations, I became delusional and started to believe my friend was planning to harm me. He locked the door and kept looking at the sink where knives were. It was probably an accidental stare, but I took it as if he was going to stab me. I kept quiet, knowing my head plays tricks on me for 10 minutes until I started visually hallucinating. His eyes would flicker red to the rhythm of the scratching. I truly believed he had lured me to his flat, was controlling my hallucinations, and he was going to do something really bad. So I ran to the sink and got a knife, waving it in front of him, screaming gibberish at it. I wasn't going to stab him at any point, I just wanted to get the door unlocked, and he rugby tackled me, took the knife off me, and we fought for 5 minutes until he overpowered me and waited for my mom. He texted me saying I cut his back and he needs some time away from me. He won't text me back or answer my calls now. I'm sick of it all. I can feel the pressure in my head and it's just building up. My mom doesn't trust me at all now, and I've lost my best friend. I don't have anyone left now. I mess it up again. I don't think there's much I can do right now that won't make the situation worse. Anyone got any advice? It's unimaginable, the pain that must come from this. To watch yourself hurt the people around you, but unable to stop yourself. His friends and family don't deserve it, but neither does Raiden. It's terrible to think of all the guilt and blame he's placing on himself when it's not his fault. This illness has him wrapped around its finger, and no matter which direction he takes, he can't seem to find peace, to just feel okay, to have a normal life where he can have a fun night with his best friend. It's cruel what he has to go through. And no matter how badly I want things to get better now, they don't. Even after the last episode, Raiden keeps trying to get himself off the antipsychotics, which only results in god-awful withdrawal symptoms. They get so terrible that he ends up voluntarily placing himself in the mental hospital. At first, he's in a very dark place. He feels like he burned his life to the ground, and he's here as a last resort, literally, because it's the last place on Earth that he wants to be. Things get kind of better though. His mom starts to visit him, and he feels sort of better, as good as he can be feeling at least. And although he felt like he'd be court-ordered to stay there for months and months, after the doctor found out he flushed his medication, he luckily ends up leaving after a couple of weeks. But the hospital can sometimes offer a routine, structure, and a feeling of safety. He even mentioned in one post that he felt a little nervous to go home. He felt as if things would be harder to deal with once he was without that support. And for Raiden, when things are hard, they're more like impossible. His disease puts him through a torture most have never gone through. So when his auditory hallucinations got really bad, everything got unbearable. And he was scared it was just the beginning. Again, he went to Reddit to try and find solutions. Is there any drug that can stop auditory hallucinations and is safe for someone with schizophrenia to use? I'm going to start by admitting I know very little about drugs beyond antipsychotics. I've smoked weed a few times before I was diagnosed, but never a lot. I've just been discharged from a psychiatric hospital about a week ago, and before I went in, I was taking a few 100 milligrams of my medication a day. But for the 3 weeks I was in there, they had me on heavier dosages. Now that I'm back out, I've gone back down to my prescribed medication. But for the last 3 days, I've been hearing voices which are bearable, but there is one very angry voice which wants me to do something bad, and it's wearing me down. I cannot afford it to worsen to visual hallucinations. I cannot tell my doctor or psychiatrist because they may put me back into the ward. I refuse to take more than the prescribed amount because it's turning me into a zombie already. So I'm hoping a fellow Redditor knows something I don't and can help me out. It's comforting to know that at least this time he is more committed to staying on the medication, even with its side effects. But still, it's not perfect. Things aren't just rainbows and sunshine now that he's completed some more time at the hospital. It's clear, though, that he's trying. He's trying to not let it get to him, to do things differently this time, to work hard and make his way to a healthier and happier life. But even with all the efforts in the world, Raiden can't seem to catch a break. This illness just beats him down again and again, with or without the medication. He's struggling. It gets to a point where no matter how much he fights, his brain gets the better of him, and he can't see the difference between reality and his hallucinations. Please, can somebody send me a study or experiment where auditory hallucinations turn out to be more than brain chemicals, like the doctors say, and maybe even real entities? I'm almost certain the voices I've been hearing are intelligent life forms, and if that is true, the things they say need to be done must be done. But the little research I've done points to no particular case where doctors didn't sum it up to imbalanced brain chemicals. I really don't believe this. So somebody, please send me a link to something. I reread the line, "If that is true, the things they say need to be done must be done," a couple of times. It felt unsettling the more I looked at it, because what are they saying that needs to be done? Raiden never comes out and specifically says what he means by that, but his next couple of posts send shivers down my spine. What are the dangers of eating a fresh human heart? Is there a method to make it less chewy? What are the dangers of drinking another human's blood? What is the best way to collect blood without it drying up? Is there a certain container needed to store it? It needs to stay liquid and be big enough to store 2 pints inside. Raiden has never posted anything like this before, which, even though it's already unsettling enough, the suddenness of it makes it so much more disturbing. And the timing. It's sandwiched in between the post about his hallucinations and one about feeling out of control. I think I'm going to lose the little control I have left. I think this is my last chance to get help. I'm at the very end of something important, but my head has slipped too much because of it all. I can't think properly anymore. It's like it's not me who is deciding most things lately. The one option gets screamed at me over and over again until it's the only option. My head is funny again, and I can feel it sliding. I don't know if I can carry on with it all. I really should, but I don't know. Everything is glowing in my head. I'm going to go see my mom and tell her everything. This will mean I'm probably going to be admitted back to the psychiatrist ward unless I can convince her, but I know she won't listen. She will ring my doctor and tell him about the nature of what I'm experiencing, and he has a right to keep me in for months because I am on the back end of a court order, and he has been trying to institutionalize me since the start of the court order. So I don't know. I'm in 2 minds to even bother telling my mom. I'm really not in a good place, but I'm so close to stopping it all. I can't help but feel all of these posts are connected, and it's obvious how desperate he is to avoid being forced into hospitalization. I mean, more than desperate. He wants to do literally anything he can to avoid that. But not only is he most likely scaring others around, I think he's starting to scare himself. And although no fault of his own, it's starting to look as if he's a danger to others and, of course, himself. These voices in his head that are screaming at him, they're violent. He feels backed into a corner, coerced into acting on things that, in his right mind, he would never do. A person can only take so much of that. He feels completely drained, depleted of all energy to deal with this. And like we've been seeing this entire time, he doesn't feel like the doctor will help him, but neither will the weed. or the DMT, or his mom, or any. He gets honest with the doctors and decides to give it another shot, even if it only helps for the couple of weeks he's in there. And that's what it does. Things start to get better. He gets hopeful. Then, like before, he goes home, returns to his normal life, his everyday routine, dealing with the symptoms of this illness by himself. And it's just crushing to watch this. He so desperately wants to get better, as does everyone else following along on his journey. I hope you feel better soon, pal. I really believe in the goodness of your nature and know you can do well. Hey man, feel free to reach out if you ever need to talk to anyone. I'm always happy to help. You know right from wrong. Whatever these voices are or aren't, if you are tempted to do something wrong, then please don't. Praying for you. But things still spiral out of control for Raiden. His mind goes places that are hard to come back from. He starts to go down paths that not many prayers can pull him out of. On May 30th, 2021, 2 years after his account was created, he posts, "I'm going to commit S-word in 50 minutes on live stream." He follows it up with another post, 22.4 miles away from home, looking for the right spot. Can't help living with this chaos, but I can choose to go out in peace. Attached is also a picture of himself out in the woods. It's hard to tell exactly what he's feeling. His eyes are looking at himself, like they're in the first post we talked about. But they don't look empty this time. They seem unfocused. Like there's so much going on behind, but nothing that's here in reality. He worded it perfectly. Chaotic. There's pure chaos happening inside him, and he wants nothing else other than quiet. Apart from his eyes, the other thing I noticed is that he's covering a part of his face with his finger. This is something he does in most pictures of himself. He mentions he's hiding a scar that reminded him of a psychosis episode. It's just another tell of how desperate he is to run away from himself, to escape the pain he's in. He doesn't want any reminder of how sick he is. And the more he's unable to avoid it, the more he thinks there's no other option than death. So he's out there, all alone, by himself, in the middle of nowhere, planning his last moments. But his post about doing this on a live stream got pretty popular, and fast. Luckily, concerned Redditors took action as soon as they saw his post, and they did what they could to try and stop this. They figured out his general location and called the police there. Even though he didn't mention to his mom or any loved ones where he was or what he was planning, law enforcement found him and he was taken to a hospital, and thankfully was okay, at least physically. He went again to the psych ward, where he updated people on what exactly happened. "I didn't tie the tie strong enough on the tree, and it snapped and dropped me onto a rock. Woke up in the ambulance. Currently in the psych ward again. Can't even commit S-word right. It's like Raiden's rock bottom has a basement. His agony just gets worse and worse. He thought he was at a breaking point before his attempt, but he's finding there's still so much more to go through. It's hard to imagine anything is making him feel okay. Even now, when he has hundreds of people on Reddit that are watching and supporting and praying for him. His story even makes it off his account and into other subreddits where people are asking about him, trying to figure out what's happening. Hi, about Raiden Jacques. I have 2 questions. Is he actually dead, or did he really go live? This dude's disturbing post history, user /Raiden Jacques. It's really disturbing, to be honest. I haven't read it completely, but it looks like he has hallucinations of people telling him to drink blood. Edit. I just saw his newest comment that said he was going to admit him today or tomorrow. These posts and some of the comments are just people watching him from afar and thinking he's creepy or interesting, like he's in a car crash or an animal in the zoo. That is some harmful dark jazz right there, dude. Could just be shitposting, mentally ill, or a drunk magician. Bruh, that's not disturbing, that's just funny. Yeah, gross. Raiden Jock is a real, breathing human that's in a tremendous amount of pain, and what he needs is support. Because after the attempt, he retreats back to the same cycle he's been in since we began this video, suffering from hallucinations, psychosis, and then searching for a solution that isn't at the bottom of a pill bottle. Could it be possible that schizophrenic delusion and psychosis are filters being lifted to another dimension? I'm once again on a quest to understand my illness. Whenever I hallucinate or have episodes of delusions, it always feels true to life, only feeling not real as I look back in hindsight. Now, I have only experienced auditory and visual hallucinations, except when I go into full-blown psychosis, which is a completely different beast and is inconceivable to explain. But I have read that people with schizophrenia can hallucinate any of the 5 senses, including touch, which is terrifying. If this is true, then it makes me think that maybe what I'm experiencing during these episodes may actually be real, but only I have the filter off for these periods. Could this be true at all? Raiden has been struggling with this for so long. It makes sense that he's at a point where he wants some other explanation for this other than he has schizophrenia, because that's been a dead-end road for years now. The medications haven't worked. He's pushed away everyone in his life and there's nowhere else to go other than leaning into the delusions, praying that maybe the doctors and psychiatrists have it all wrong and everything in his head is actually just reality, but in a different form than we're used to. It's horrible to watch. Just horrible. And then watch him again look for someone to co-sign him on using psychoactive drugs, trying psychedelics with a severe mental illness. After thinking a lot whether I should do this or not, I finally come to the decision to try DMT. I've never taken a psychedelic before and have not taken alcohol or any psychoactives since I was diagnosed with schizophrenia 5 years ago through heavy and constant advice from my doctor and psychiatrist. I have been told by close friends who are experienced with psychedelics that DMT and ayahuasca both have qualities that can help paranoid schizophrenia. So the plan is to ditch my antipsychotics for 2 days, starting now, and try my friend's DMT on the 3rd. Has anyone who has had a severe mental illness and has tried either DMT or ayahuasca? Please let me know what experiences you guys have had or if this is too dangerous. Also, would it be advised to keep taking my medication in case I do have an episode, or will it interfere with the DMT? This feels like possibly the worst decision Raiden could make, but it's hard to tell what the right decision is because we're only getting his side. From what he tells us, the medications are never 100% effective for him, and it seems like he stays in communication with his doctors, but it's hard to be 100% certain that he's being honest or taking their direction. Maybe they are offering him things that he's not actually following up on, or it's just that nothing is working for him. Regardless, he feels powerless. He's watching his life being stripped away from him. This is now 3 years since the start of his account, though I'm not sure how many more years since his battle with this illness began, and still, he's back at square one. hoping that a psychedelic or a psychoactive drug will solve this. Shortly after announcing he was going to take DMT, he made more posts asking if weed was safe. Everyone gave the same answer they did years ago, which was no. Some even gave their own experiences, begging him to not do it. Did Radon listen to them? Well, I don't know. After reading through all of these posts, watching a man crumble and break, and then potentially take something that would most likely make his mental state 1,000 times worse, we don't actually know what happened. He made a couple more posts that were seemingly random, like things that he made up on joke subreddits. Then that first post we read, and one more post after that. A picture of him. A selfie, like most of the pictures he's posted. And I wouldn't say he's ever looked happy in any of the other photos, but he looks worse than usual in this one. The pain in his eyes is noticeable, palpable even. He's exhausted. This is a few weeks after seeking help on needing to sleep, but it doesn't look like he's gotten much rest since then, or had much energy to take care of himself in the way he's used to. He's a bit more disheveled than normal, which isn't just my observation, but also his. In the post, he asked other members of r/schizophrenia if he should shave, since he's been avoiding it for weeks. It's hard to look at him in so much turmoil, and by coming to the end of his posts, I could personally care less whether he shaves. I just want this poor guy to feel happy, to have some peace, wake up in the morning and not feel miserable. I really hope he didn't take DMT or smoke weed. Hopefully the doctors figured out a solution, one that was effective and long-lasting. But this isn't a fairy tale. This man's illness and life is real and tragically more painful than he deserves. It's possible his ending is far from what myself and other users want from him. All we have left is one last comment mentioning his outgrown beard. Me too, but I've had so many comments telling me to keep it. I think I'll trim it a taj. I'd like to imagine he did give himself a slight trim, and then continued fighting, working hard to make each day a little better, and not giving in and surrendering to such a terrible disease like schizophrenia.